Hello, I'm Kira Sexton, and I'm so happy to be chatting with you today about the American Company of Irish Dance for this webinar event. We have lots to tell and show you, and I will be chatting to some of the original cast, one of the board members of this non-profit company, and of course, its artistic directors, Shane McAvinci and Paula Golding. So do stay with us to hear all about what this company has planned for the future.
I'm Samantha Merritt from Westfield, New Jersey. The rehearsals for the workshop shows have been great. I've learned a lot so far, and they're long days, but we have a great cast and a great group of talented dancers, so it's been a wonderful experience. Professional Irish dancing is something I've always wanted to do. I started dancing when I was 5 years old. As soon as I saw my first river dance show, I knew I wanted to be on stage. Being a part of the American Company of Irish Dance has been something that is another opportunity for me to be on stage. It's been an amazing experience working with Paula and Shane. They're so talented, and every day seeing them in rehearsals makes me want to do better and work harder.
You just saw a clip from the American Company of Irish Dance back in 2016 when it performed a series of shows in the state of Wisconsin in the USA. I've had the pleasure of working with the artistic directors of AMCO, Shane and Paula, and I must say they are inspirational figures for the world of Irish dance and the future of the industry. Speaking of, I'm now joined by one half of this dynamic duo, Shane McAvinci. Hi Shane, how are you doing, and where in the world are you during this strange time that we find ourselves right now with COVID-19?
Hi Kira, how are you? I'm currently in Barcelona, Spain actually. I've been here during the whole lockdown. I'm based out of here, and I travel from here to teach and to work with the American Company of Irish Dance.
The burning question, Shane, what is the American Company of Irish Dance?
I've been asked this question quite a lot actually since we first launched. I think a common misconception for some people is that it's some sort of a workshop or like a camp. Of course, we've done these sorts of things in the past with professional training camps and our own festival that we run. But this is something completely different. AMCO is much more than that. You need to think of it more along the lines of like the New York City Ballet or the Joffrey in Chicago to get a sense of where we want to position ourselves with the company. Dancers that join the show will be, of course, fully paid. So it'll be a great opportunity for Irish dancers who are looking to do Irish dance as a career. A lot of people don't get that chance, but with this company, we are going to be able to offer that. The backbone of the company is the fact that it's a non-profit organization, and therefore we rely heavily on supporters, sponsors and donors to bring all our projects to life. The main aim of the company is to produce original, exciting productions and choreography, which we plan to tour nationally and internationally throughout the year. Alongside the productions, the tours, the performances, we are also going to provide a platform for dancers to improve their craft. And we're going to try and bridge that gap between competitive and professional performance. Eventually what we will have is a permanent roster of dancers who will perform regularly in like seasonal touring productions. And these dancers will be sourced via online auditions or in-person face-to-face auditions. So not only will they get the chance to perform to live audiences, but they'll also be growing all the time as performers and maybe even be able to pass that on to the next generation of dance as Irish dance evolves. because, you know, what doesn't evolve dies. And at the American Company of Irish Dance, we are always going to be evolving to make sure that Irish dance always stays alive and in everybody's minds.
So can you tell me a little bit about how you and Paula got involved with AMCO?
Yeah, so Paula and I were introduced to the company to the board of directors by our very good friend Sean Beglin, who owns a dance studio in Milwaukee where the company is based. Paula and myself had done a few productions and events, including the first Irish dance performance-based workshop, Take the Floor, and a few other events and choreography for different productions. We went to Milwaukee, we met with the board of directors, and immediately we were a match. And they knew our intentions and they understood our vision, and we knew that they were the people that could 100% support us to make those things happen and to fulfill our dreams as choreographers, producers, and to make this whole thing happen.
So Shane, tell me about the immediate plans for the company's relaunch.
Okay, well, as we all know, the current COVID-19 situation is putting a hold on any theatre productions or events throughout most of the world. But we're remaining positive and we're staying focused, and we plan to come out the gate running as soon as restrictions are lifted and it's safe to do so. These restrictions have actually given us all a chance to sit back and take stock of where we are and where we want to go, who we want to be as a company. We've been working a lot on the general operations of AMCO as a company, so nailing down exactly what it is that we want to be and working out the best ways to communicate that to the general public and even to the Irish dance world itself. From an artistic point of view, it's given Paula and I a chance to actually put our ideas out on the table. So we're currently in pre-production for what will be the world premiere of the first full-length production by the American Company of Irish Dance, which we hope will tour as soon as the world is open and we're ready to get into theatres.
It's also exciting. So for the dancers that are on this webinar today, can they apply, Shane, or do you already have your cast in place?
Yeah, so aside from all of those plans that we have going on at the moment, we're going to spend the next few months working with our current amazing dancers, but also looking for new dancers who might have something to offer the company in the very near future as well. Over the next few months, you can expect to hear about various projects that we're going to be doing, including auditions, ongoing auditions, video events and projects, and maybe even some online workshops and more. What we're most excited about is casting an amazing group of Irish dancers that are already out there, but just looking for a platform to get out there and perform. We're going to do this in ways that maybe haven't been seen before, but one thing we're very passionate about is keeping true to Irish dance itself. So yeah, making the show something new, something original, but still staying true to the art form and remembering always where it came from and just working from there to bring it further.
So if I do want to apply and I want to audition for you, where do I send my CV, my resume?
Yeah, so as I said, we're always on the lookout for talent. So if you're an aspiring dancer out there who wants to tour professionally someday, I would encourage you to get your CV together, get your resume together, get your audition tape together, and email us. So send your audition emails to info@amcoirishdance.org. And we are looking forward to seeing all of that talent that is out there from new up-and-coming performers.
Yeah, my name is Tom Stewart. The rehearsals have been pretty tough, but it's been worth it. It's been a lot of hard work, 6-7 hours a day, learning a lot of new stuff. It's been tough, you know, trying to keep it all practiced while learning new stuff. The rehearsals have gone well. Everybody's really, you know, friendly and nice, and Shane and Paula come up with some really good choreography for us to work with. Yeah, professional Irish dancing is, it's not something I've always wanted to do, but recently I've had a lot more opportunities, and looking at it now, with these opportunities, it's something that I really want to do now. You know, I want to do this in my future. It's hard to describe in words what it means to be part of the first group of the American Company of Irish Dance. It means so much. This feels like a breakthrough, something that's going to be huge, something that's going to keep going over the years, and being part of the first group is just amazing, just to be asked to be part of this group. You know, hopefully we can make a name for ourselves as the first group and continue this show in the future.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hi, Kira. I am doing great. Nice to see you.
Well, we just saw a clip of you talking there, and you were an original cast member with the company. Can you tell us a little bit about your time performing with AMCO and what that was like?
Yeah, so it was back in 2016, so it was a couple years ago. And I remember all the way through, we had the audition process and then up to the end of the showcase. It was just an incredible experience. It was really unique. It felt like, this was, it was something creative and different. It was something new, and it was just really amazing to be a part of it. It was incredible to be part of this group of people that had such a passion for Irish dance, right? And it amazes me what we got done in such little time. We put together this showcase of like a couple numbers that were really honestly pretty hard. It was difficult to put this together. It took a lot of practice. But putting those numbers together and what we ended up putting on stage, it was just really amazing. And it was cool to see the different forms that Irish dance can take and work with people like Shane and Paula who have the mind to create these things.
So since AMCO temporarily ended production back in 2016, what have you gotten on to do?
Right. So after 2016 AMCO, I traveled and did Celtic dances. I did that in 2017. And 2018, I came back to America, did my first year of residency at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. And that was great. It was a long 6-month contract. I finished that up, came back again in 2019 and did another 6 months. That was amazing working with those guys. Shout outs to everybody on that. You guys are awesome. And after that, I went to Canada to do Celtic Illusion, but that was this winter before the spring started. So that tour ended. Celtic Illusion ended, and I came back. And right when I came back, it was March, and all the COVID-19 breakout happened. But we're kind of on a, everything's postponed right now until we see what happens.
Well, what an incredibly jam-packed 4 years you've had, Tom. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to talk about any takeaway moments or tools for your dance career. What did you take away from your time with AMCO?
The ability to have just the confidence to perform on stage and kind of to think on my feet and like be able to perform by myself with a group and others, and how to like work with others in a performance setting. And like some advice that I would offer people that are getting into this would be like, make sure you're able to work with others and learn your steps, learn your choreography, because it was such a short time and we had to listen to our directors, listen to the choreographers, do what they say. So Irish dance as a show, it can exist in a lot of forms that are outside of competitive dancing, right? It's not all super structured. It's not all everything together to a certain beat. Like we can create our own dances, our own numbers, our own things that it's art, and how it comes out is kind of beautiful sometimes. And seeing what American Company did with Irish dancing kind of like opened my mind to the future of, oh, what can I do with my own dancing? What can I do in terms of like Irish dancing and like how to form that? I know a lot of people end up doing competitive dancing and Irish dancing and kind of stop. And I felt like I was at kind of a crossroads at that point for American Company. And I didn't know, okay, is this something, do I continue doing it? Do I go back to school? But being surrounded by all of those people that had the same passion for Irish dance that I did, I knew that this was something that I was kind of meant to continue doing, right? This was something that it wasn't just like a hobby. It was something that I needed to pursue and continue doing. And
how wonderful. And how wonderful that you're working today and still building those skills and still dancing and, living your passion. So it doesn't really seem like just a flavor of professional dance. It seems like a crash course this is performance, this is leadership, this is how to dance a duet. You know, there were so many things, experiences, positive takeaways that really could cement in your mind and in any dancer's mind if professional dance is for them. What is your advice to the future dancers, those future cast members of AMCO?
If I had any advice to the future dancers of AMCO, I would say make sure that dance is your passion and that you're ready to take this step. And when you come into a company or an environment like American Company, just realize that the people around you are not there to judge you. They're there to help you learn and kind of further your craft. They're not going to criticize you, put you down. It's not going to be done just by listening. You have to be able to accept what they say, and you also have to be able to put in your own work. Obviously, like some dancers are better than others, but when you're in that room together, you never want to put yourself above or below anybody else. You all want to work together as a team, and I feel like we really did that as a cast that year. We were really tight, we were really close together, and we really worked as a team. So things like that are some things that people coming into the company need to think about for the future. And I think the future is really great and bright right now.
Well, there you have it. Wise words from Tom, one of the featured dancers of the American Company of Irish Dance's first launch in 2016. Tom, the last question I have. Where do you see AMCO going in the future, and what do you expect from them next?
It's like, I think I said this before, it's going to be a big thing. I feel like American Company has potential to be such a new creative outlet, and they have so many good ideas for their show that I think it's going to go far. I think American Company could reach out and touch the lives of many different dancers that are out there. And I hope that anybody that is interested will have the opportunity, and especially some of the original cast. I know we were very passionate about it, and it would be just so incredible for us to all kind of get back together and do a performance again, just to be able to perform under that name of American Company, being part of the first cast back in 2016 would just be, I hope it does kick off. I hope something does happen in the future in the most safe way as possible, because I know we're all frustrated right now, but we can't try to, we all have to take things in moderation and, you know, stay safe. But I hope for the best with the company, and I do think its success is in the future.
Hello everyone, and thanks so much for joining us on this very special day for Irish culture as we all share our plans for the future of the American Company of Irish Dance. I'm Karen Prendergast, and I am honored to be serving on the board of directors of the American Company of Irish Dance. Before serving on the AMCO board, I was president of the board of the Irish Cultural and Heritage Center in Milwaukee for 10 years. During the past years, I got to know the leadership and the dancers of AMCO while they used the center for rehearsals and for other company-related events. As a non-profit organization, AMCO is unique in that so many other performing Irish dance companies are for-profit businesses whose profits benefit their investors. As a not-for-profit, AMCO is distinctly different as its focus is on its mission. We, of course, need to raise money to operate in the black, but our profits are reinvested back into the company to further the company's mission and to support our performers. The mission of the American Company of Irish Dance, which is why we exist, is to increase an appreciation of traditional and progressive Irish dance, to elevate Irish dance as an art form, and to educate the public about cultural value of Irish dance. Through my work on the AMCO board, I've realized how important this mission is to defining the dance company and how it operates. It is this mission that creates the caring community of AMCO's professional Irish dancers who bring entertainment, enjoyment, and the art form to the public. The AMCO board members represent almost 100 years of experience in nonprofit management and knowledge of Irish dance and performance. I am honored to be part of this leadership group in partnership with our artistic directors, Shane and Paula. Together we share the excitement of AMCO's future plans to bring the excellence and beauty of the American Company of Irish Dance to audiences around the world.
And Kelsey, I believe you were the dance captain. Can you tell us a little bit about your own experience dancing and working with AMCO?
It really overall was just a fantastic time. We had a great group of people, a fantastic work ethic throughout the group of people, which definitely made a difference in pushing everybody to work harder and really love what we were doing.
So for dancers that are interested in joining the American Company of Irish Dance, what would you say to them? What would be your advice?
My advice would be definitely work hard to prep for anything that could happen. Be comfortable and ready to step out of your comfort zone and try new things, and enjoy your time throughout the audition process or throughout the preparation process.
Kelsey, how did AMCO prepare you for your future self? What are you up to today, and what projects have you done since?
Going into AMCO, I definitely felt like I was unprepared and like I had no idea what to expect and what I was doing. And then once I got there, I was really given the tools that I needed to be able to have the confidence to go on and pursue a career in touring. Since I did AMCO, I did a tour in France that was also done by Shane and Paula, which was wonderful. Was just on the 25th anniversary North American tour with Riverdance. And I definitely think that AMCO gave me all of the tools that I needed to have the confidence to go on and do the rest of the touring that I've done and the involvement that I've had in other shows.
What is a dance captain? What were some of your duties?
So basically as dance captain, it's really being on top of things and keeping a sharp eye, paying attention to feedback that Shane and Paula were giving to all of the cast members in any dance, even if it's a dance that you're not in or the boys' dances or whatever, and making sure that you remember everything and all of the corrections they're giving. So if they need to step out to do something outside of working in the dance studio, you can step in and kind of keep things rolling and keep people practicing and motivated.
Was it stressful in any way?
I think only stressful in the fact of like wanting to really do a great job with it and be supportive and be helpful to all of the other dancers that were there. But it was a lot of fun working with everybody, and it was a great way to get to know people one-on-one as well by having that time to step aside as a dance captain, be like, let's work on this or let's focus on something else instead now. And yeah, I think it was a little bit stressful, but it was definitely a lot of fun and well worth it.
So to be a dance captain, you have to lead and you need the ability to be led all at different times throughout a tour, throughout a production. Did you recognize these qualities in yourself to put yourself forward for this job?
Initially, no, not at all. I love teaching, I love learning, and I've always helped out at my dance studio, and I knew that that was something that I loved to do, but I definitely didn't think in the setting of a professional dance company that was something that I would even be qualified to do or have the confidence to do at all. Shane and Paula actually pulled me aside and were like, this is something that we think that you might be good at, and really gave me the push and confidence to step up and do it. And I'm so glad that they did, because it ended up being a wonderful experience.
I'm sure it only added to your AMCO experience and amplified it. I mean, being in the cast. So from the audition process to being casted and then being chosen as a dance captain. What a thrill. What a ride.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It really set the whole experience even higher and above and beyond what my expectations were. So that was really wonderful to be a part of.
Kelsey, what would you like to see from AMCO in the future?
I think what started out as a fantastic base for the show is only going to grow and get bigger. I think the opportunities it's going to offer to new dancers and dancers who have possibly done other shows is going to be groundbreaking. I really think that it's going to take off. I'd love to see it build and grow and tour and just continue on for years, because I really think that it's a fantastic show to be a part of and a fantastic company to be a part of, and I really think it's got big things ahead.
So both Shane and I are products of Riverdance. So we went into Riverdance for up to 7 years, and we had various roles within that, but we went from Fesh, so our competitive phase in Irish dance, straight into Riverdance. But now we're 20 years on, and there's a level of sophistication in Irish dance performance now, and it's still getting there. So what the American Company of Irish Dance is doing is bridging that gap between the competitive world and the world stage.
Paula, you and Shane have your production company Up You Get, where you have done the original Take the Floor project. You've choreographed for various other productions and events, not to mention the Irish Dance Festival that takes place each summer. But how specifically did you and Shane get into the choreography and direction side of things?
So let me try and give you the condensed version of this. So as some people might know, Shane and myself met in Riverdance many, many moons ago at this stage. And I suppose it would be plausible enough to say that it was like like-mindedness, maybe colliding as opposed to just meeting. We toured a lot of America, and we were lucky enough to do quite large venues. And within those venues, there was always an extra rehearsal space. So Shane and myself would get to the venues, we would seek out the rehearsal space, and we would, what's the best way to say it? We would kind of go a little bit buck mad in this rehearsal space. So we kind of allowed ourselves to be silly, to be serious, to be creative. Somehow we kind of managed in between numbers to just explore what dance had to offer. And we just kind of came up with wacky and weird and wonderful, dare I even say it, sometimes maybe brilliant, sometimes maybe awful. It was the starting ground for what was to become, I guess, Up You Get, and what Shane and Paula were to become. Because as I said before, we allowed ourselves to be everything, whether it was silly or serious, and it just became, without us even knowing what we were doing or what it was for, it became this ground for exploring and for creativity, and yeah, in a very organic way it just moved from there. And I guess Shane and myself then set up our production back when we did the original Take the Floor project. So it wasn't anything that was ever this thought out process in this very serious way. It just evolved from us just loving dance and loving creating.
Wonderful. It's honestly a joy to hear how you both came together through silliness and madness and all these wonderful ideas that you bounced off each other. So what do you guys look for in a dancer?
Oh, okay. I would say the first thing we look for in a dancer is work ethic. So to us, it's not primarily about being a champion, being a world champion. That's great too. And we need to have a level of standard from each dancer that applies to us and that subsequently gets into the show. But it's about work ethic. That is number one for us. I would also say a willingness to learn. So a willingness to throw yourself into the creative process with us, and then great things can happen. And if I was to say a third thing, it would be a team player. So, we're in it as a company. It's a cast of dancers. It's not necessarily an individual thing. Like, even if you're lead of a show, it's still not about just that individuality. It's about a team, and it's about a company coming together. And I've always thought that a good company, a happy company, makes a good show.
So guys, talk me through your audition process.
We have actually done a lot of auditions online in the past. Take the Floor, which is a project we did back in 2012, I think might have been the first Irish dance online audition process that ever there was. So we've been learning a lot since then. It's always interesting to see the types of auditions you get. And I know Paula will agree with me on this. When you do a call out for auditions, we expect a certain level of expertise to come in through even through an online audition.
So let's talk about those dancers that you have worked with in the past. Did they have chemistry day one, minute one? Did you coax it out of them? Are there any standout performers that you did, insert into those lead roles that you didn't think maybe perhaps in the first hour that they would be there?
I think Shane and myself have always been surprised with this. As we said, you get your online auditions first and you have a scan through, and you might have an idea in your head. We never set it out, first and foremost, because that can always change up. But you have an idea in your head who's going to be where in the choreography, who's going to be more to the front. And I think we've both been really surprised sometimes. And again, because of that 2 or 3 day process, as Shane said, it can be somebody who's kind of shying at the back of the room and they start to come forward a bit more and they start to come forward a bit more. And then they'll be practicing in the hallway during lunch and they'll be practicing arms and they'll be looking in the mirror and trying to perfect it. And one girl springs to mind. I remember her coming back in on day 2. She was a little bit shy and a little bit nervous on day 1. And she came back in on day 2. And she was completely different from the girl that was in front of us the day before. And she ended up actually doing some lead work for us. But her work ethic was amazing. She went home that night. She practiced in front of the mirror. And this is not vanity. People need to get this out of their heads that, practicing in front of the mirror, why would I do that? You need to. You need to see what you look like to an audience, what you look like to your choreographer, to your director. How do I look to people? So she perfected what we gave her as much as she could, and she just completely shone. She was a different girl. And that has been really, really nice to see. Again, with that quick audition process, sometimes maybe you don't get to see that. And again, going back to Kira, when you asked me about what we look for in a dancer, it's all about work ethic. It's not about being the best dancer in the room, technically the best dancer in the room. It's about your work ethic. And if you go away and work on what we give you or whatever show you're in gives you, you can completely change how you might have been perceived on the first day, on the first minute.
So Paula, what is the American Company of Irish Dance?
Kira, the American Company of Irish Dance, or AMCO as we like to call it for short, it's a non-profit company. So I know that that's probably a little bit unheard of in Irish dance, but essentially what it is it's not just a show, it's a training ground for dancers, and it's also the production, the show at the end of it. So it's possibly a little bit more nurturing than what your typical show would be, because we want to train dancers. We want to go through that process with them. We want to bring the best out in them and get them trained up and ready to in turn go into the show. It's really nice to be working with a non-profit company. Their ethos is so their ethos in nurturing, and it's almost an altruistic approach, and it's really, really nice to be working with the board of members that work with the American Company of Irish Dance.
My name is Katie Anschutz. I'm 22 years old and I'm from Anchorage, Alaska. So far, the developmental process here has been unlike anything else I've experienced. I've been able to learn from other amazing dancers from all over the world.
I'm Tom Conkey. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I've been dancing for 15 years and had a great opportunity to dance at the national world level. I stay involved in dance for a bunch of different reasons. I like the active part of it, of keeping myself in shape. I like the part of getting to meet new people and experiencing different experiences and seeing different parts of the world and getting an opportunity to learn things and challenge myself. The American Company of Irish Dance is an interesting new experience to me. It seems a lot different from other things that I've seen and heard about. It looks a little more modern, and it's something that kids in the future could look forward to.
Hi Jesse, hi Miles, how are you guys doing?
Doing so good, Kira, thank you.
Yeah, everything's well, thank you.
Wonderful. Miles, I'll come to you first. How was your experience working with the American Company of Irish Dance?
Working with AMCO, I mean, just to put it bluntly, it was the most wild, most extraordinary time. I mean, I was 17 years old, so a senior in high school. It was just honestly working with all these amazing professionals, just an absolute dream come true.
And Jessie, same question to you.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. Shane and Paula, they really create such a wonderful environment. You feel like you really can thrive and be your own dancer there. And yeah, I was really, really grateful to be able to join.
Jessie, did it feel different, the fact that AMCO is a non-profit company, or was it just like working with any other production?
I'd say that the audition process, the rehearsals, the putting together the show, that kind of felt the same as what other shows, but to know that you're dancing for a company that holds a bit more meaning, that they're fueled by, a cause and passion, that really, hits home a little bit more. You feel like you're dancing for something more important, which is really nice.
Wonderful. So Miles, can you tell me a little bit about your involvement in the company so far? So what was the audition process like? What was that workshop like for you?
The workshop, it was just a weekend long, kind of seeing where everything was, like as a dancer, growing as a dancer, but then also like how can we grow together as a company? And then we did one like little performance at the end of it, and then from there, it was like maybe 2 weeks after. I honestly did not think I was gonna get in. Like again, 17, senior in high school, but got in. We got together, and then it was just constant hard work and just a beautiful, beautiful time. Just growing as a dancer and just growing as a company altogether.
So that was your first taste of professional Irish dance in that professional environment. 17, so much to learn. What was your takeaway and favorite memory, Miles, from your time with AMCO?
Favorite memory by far would have to be our very last show. My mom had come from home. She came to see him from Columbus, Ohio. We finished the show, and then if you know my mom, she is extremely loud. So then just gives out the biggest like woo or something at the end, like and just like having that pride and just like carrying that, knowing that it's not just from what I did, but from what we all did as a company. It was the best feeling in the world.
So over to you, Jesse. Can you tell me a little bit about your involvement with AMCO? What was your audition process like? What was your workshop process like? What did you take away from your experience?
Yeah, the audition, that was, I remember in August in Milwaukee, and it was nice just getting to connect with the dancers again. Again, we did a little showcase of like our own material, and then we were taught something. And like Miles said, a few weeks later, we heard back. I was so excited to join. And then we had a 3-week workshop. At the end of it was going to be our showcase. So we had created about 45 minutes, so like the first half of the show. And yeah, long days as always in rehearsals, but they really create such a wonderful environment. Again, just being able to challenge ourselves together was really, really great. You know, we felt so special being in that show, and the dancing was just so authentic, and it was just a really wonderful experience. So I always really was hopeful that this show would come back. I wanted to see what it could really grow into.
So you must both be so excited about the company's relaunch. Miles, how did you react when you heard the news?
I was so excited. I was filled automatically with so much just hope and positivity. Because let's be honest, we're still kind of in COVID's kind of corner. But it just like reminded me just like there's something still out there that is so positive and so amazing, and just being able to connect back with something that was so amazing and so prominent to my dance career. Like it reminded me, like, I'm just so hopeful. I'm grateful. I'm excited. I'm all of the above.
So what do you both expect from the future of AMCO? Miles, I'll go to you first.
What I expect is just, our motto was just like the next generation or the new generation. And we're just like, what we really aspired to do is just inspire the next generation and generations to come. So honestly, I think what you can expect is just like dancers sharing what we do best and just like inspiring the next to come.
Thank you so much for chatting with us, Jesse, Miles, and indeed Karen, Kelsey, Tom, Shane, and Paula. And thank you, the viewers, for tuning in. Despite current circumstances throughout the world, it's so encouraging and exciting to hear of news like this, where, of course, when it is safe to do so, dancers and indeed artists will again get to showcase their talents, and for some, start off, and for others, continue their amazing and fulfilling careers in the performance world of Irish dance. For dancers that would like to get in touch and perhaps submit their resumes and auditions, please contact info@amcoirishdance.org. you are auditioning, please submit an up-to-date resume and audition video for AMCO. And right now, they are accepting company members from North America.
My name is Elise Transon, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Being with the American company has helped me personally with my own performance skills more than any other company, I think, that I've been with. For me, it's so special to be an original member of the American Company of Irish Dance, because for me, I think it's come full circle, especially because rehearsals for the American Company of Irish Dance have been at the Irish Cultural and Heritage Center in Milwaukee, which is where I grew up dancing. So it's really special for me to have a show be based out of Milwaukee, where my friends and family and those who are important to me and who have seen my dance journey can see it manifest on the stage.
I hope you're as excited about our plans for the future as we are. As I mentioned earlier, we are driven by our mission, but we couldn't fulfill our mission without the generous support of our donors. We welcome you to become part of our AMCO family today. Please join me by making a gift to help make our performance plans for the future a reality. I want to thank you so much for listening in today, and thanks for any support you can give us as we venture forward.